Hello everyone, and welcome to my channel Cooking for the Family. I'm Dyvonne, and today I'm going to share with you how I make my butter pecan bundt cake. Are you ready? Let's get started. These are the ingredients that I'm going to be using. I'll also share with you a list of ingredients in the description box below for your reference, and you'll find the description box underneath the title of the vlog. If you click on more or show more, the description box will open up for you. So I'm going to share with you how I doctor up this box cake mix to make it taste so good. So I'm using the butter pecan cake mix. This is a 13.25 ounce box of cake mix. Now I'm preparing several different cakes, and I'll share with you some of the other cakes that I'm preparing. This is for my family's annual family reunion picnic that we do every year on my dad's side of the family, and so it's a big occasion, and I always like to bring some baked goods to share with my family. So to the cake mix, I added 1/3 of a cup of packed light brown sugar, and I'm also going to add 2/3 of sour cream. So each of my measuring cups is 1/3. So 1/3 and 1/3 is going to give me that 2/3 of sour cream that I need. Now when it comes to the sour cream, I like to use a thicker sour cream such as Knudsen's, and I'm using regular sour cream, not light sour cream, just regular sour cream. Now, if you are new to my channel, I want to welcome you in. And if you're a returner, I want to thank you for coming back. And I want to thank all my wonderful subscribers for your likes, your shares, your subscribes, and your good vibe comments. I truly appreciate it. Baking is something that is definitely my passion, and sharing that with all of you has been such a treat. If you enjoy baking recipes, old school meals, and some wonderful, authentic Mexican food dishes that I learned from my sister-in-laws, I hope you consider subscribing. So in addition to the sour cream, I also added in some milk, and you can use either 2% or whole milk. And for my milk, I added in 2/3 of a cup of milk. So that was 2/3 of a cup of milk. I go ahead and get my mixer going, and then to my mix, I'm also going to be adding in some extracts. So I'm adding in some vanilla extract, and this is 1 teaspoon of vanilla extract that I'm going to add. Now I'm also going to add in a little bit of maple extract. The maple extract and that flavoring of the brown sugar and also the pecans, they play so nice together. And so if you have some maple extract, I highly recommend it. If you don't, you can substitute that 1/2 of a teaspoon of maple extract for additional vanilla extract. I'm also putting in some melted butter, and this is salted butter, and I'm putting in 6 tablespoons of melted butter that's salted. I let the butter cool first before I add it into the mix, okay? So be sure that once you melt your butter, you do want to let it cool down and not add the hot butter to the mix. Next, I'm putting in my eggs, and this is 3 large eggs at room temperature. Room temperature eggs are going to blend better into your cake batter versus the cold eggs coming straight from the refrigerator. Okay, so far we have our 13.25 ounce box of cake mix, 1/3 a cup of packed light brown sugar, 2/3 of a cup of sour cream, 2/3 of a cup of milk, 1 teaspoon of vanilla extract, 1/2 teaspoon of maple extract, 6 tablespoons of melted and cooled butter. I used salted butter, but you can also use unsalted if that's all you have on hand. We also put in our 3 large eggs at room temperature. I'd stop my mixer because I want to make sure that everything gets captured very well into the blade and we don't have any of the cake mix on the bottom of the bowl. So I'm going to let this go ahead and mix. And as you see, I like to mix my cakes on like a low to medium speed, not on high speed because I don't want to whip too much air into my cake. And that's something that my mother told me to be mindful of because it changes the structure of your cake where your cake will end up very spongy. And so that's been my experience, and something that my mom also had experienced is that it'll make your cake very spongy if you whip a lot of air into your cake. So you want to be mindful to just kind of mix it on low speed just till your batter comes together. Now in my bowl, I put in 1 cup of chopped pecans, and I also added to the chopped pecans a tablespoon of flour. I'm going to mix this around, and the reason why I'm adding this tablespoon to the pecans is that I want the pecans to have a little bit of something to help them hold on to when I mix them into the batter, because we want our pecans not to all sink to the bottom of our cake. We want them cascading throughout our cake. In order to do that, we just need a little bit of flour to help that batter kind of cling to the flour and the pecans. And then I like to gently fold them into my batter, making sure that all the pecans get covered in the batter. And I just gently fold over, just like I'm doing there. Now while I'm doing this, I have my oven is preheating on 350 degrees. So my batter is looking great. My pecans are nicely covered. This is what you want your batter to look like. So I'm going to be using a bundt pan. Now I've also made this recipe by making it into a layer cake and making a homemade cream cheese frosting with pecans in it to go with this cake. In the description box below, I'll put a link to that vlog if you like to make this as a layer cake. And I switch it up just a little bit, making it as a layer cake versus making it as a bundt cake that I'm doing today. And if you're enjoying this recipe share, please be sure to give this video a thumbs up. I sprayed my bundt pan with some non-stick cooking spray, but you can also use some butter and flour. So you can butter and flour, or either you can use a little bit of shortening and also flour your bundt pan if you don't have any non-stick cooking spray. I'm going to even out my cake in my bundt pan. We want to make sure that it's nice and even, because we don't want one side to bake up huge and the other side to be like low. And so you want to do the best that you can to just even out your batter in your pan. And so once I have it nice and even, I'm going to bake it in the oven at that 350 for 40 to 50 minutes. I like to check on it around about 30-35 minutes to see how it's baking up, but usually it takes anywhere from about 40 minutes to about 50 minutes until your tester that you insert in the center close to the ring and in the middle comes out clean, or maybe just 1 or 2 crumbs on it. Well, my cake is out of the oven. It is looking good. My cake baked for 45 minutes on that 350 degrees. It is looking good. It is smelling good. You can smell all of those wonderful pecans. I let my cake cool so that way I'm able to take it out of the pan. I like to shake it so that way it gives me a little lift. And so when I lift it out of the pan, I know that my cake will come out nice and clean, just like that. Well, it is looking good. Before we put our glaze on it, I'm going to let it cool here on my countertop. Today I'm going to be putting glaze actually on 3 different cakes. So I'm going to make a double batch of glaze, and this is enough. You can use either for 2 cakes or 3 cakes. Now if you're only making the 1 cake, all you would do is just split the recipe in half for just 1 cake. But this is enough glaze for 3 cakes that I've got. I've got some other cakes on the table. I'll share those with you that I'm going to be taking to the family reunion. So in my bowl, I have 1 stick of butter, which is the equivalent of 8 tablespoons. I've melted the butter, and it was salted butter, and I let the butter cool. After I did that, I put in 3 cups of powdered sugar, and then next I'm going to put in some vanilla extract, and I'm putting in 2 teaspoons of vanilla extract. So that was 1 stick, which is 8 tablespoons of butter that was salted. I melted it, I let it cool. I put in 3 cups of powdered sugar, and then to that I added 2 teaspoons of vanilla extract. This is going to be a nice buttery glaze for those other cakes as well. Now to this we're also going to add some water. Now because I'm taking these cakes to the park and they're going to be sitting on the table, I opt to use water versus using milk or half and half. And normally I would use the milk or the half and half, but because these cakes will be at the park sitting on the table for a while, I prefer to use the water for them. Now, no matter which liquid that you're using for your glaze, I like to look for a particular consistency that will be able to drizzle the glaze over. And so you can make yours as thick or as thin as you like. And I'll share with you what the consistency I like to use. And so usually anywhere from about 1/4 of a cup up to about 1/2 of a cup, somewhere right around in there. We add it in a little bit at a time. And so I'm mixing my glaze, and then I add some water. And then when I get to almost the texture and the consistency that I'm looking looking for, I'm just putting in just a couple of drops of water at a time, just like that, so I can get it right where I want it. And this is looking just about right. I want to have those nice ribbons. Oh yes, this is how I want it. And so I'm going to go ahead and drizzle this all over my cake. When it comes to your glaze, you can put as much or as little as you want. That's going to be up to you. And so I'm going to share with you how I like to put my glaze on the cake. And when you're doing this, you want to make sure your cake is totally and completely cooled by the time that you're putting your glaze on. No residual heat coming from your cake. Now, if you're making your glaze and you end up putting a little bit more liquid than you wanted to, you can counteract that. If your glaze is a little bit thin, you can just add a couple of tablespoons, 1 tablespoon at a time of powdered sugar, just to kind of thicken that glaze up more to your consistency that you're looking for. Okay? And so once I have my glaze on and I have it kind of cascading down, I like to top my cake with some chopped pecans. This is about 1/3 of a cup, but you can put as much or as little as you like. It is looking good. It is smelling good. Cannot wait to share this with all the family. These are my other cakes. That's my sakatumi cake to the right there. I'll share that vlog with how to make the sakatumi cake. There's the butter pecan. This is my lemon bundt cake. I'll share that vlog with you soon. This is my double chocolate pound cake right here. And so I'll share that link for that vlog for you. And this one here is my pistachio cake. And I like to keep it simple with just adorning it with some powdered sugar. And so I'll share that information as well. So here I like to get these. I get these from the dollar store, and I just put the names of the cakes so that way everyone knows what different cake, like what cake is what. And so I just write the names of all my cakes on these like little things. And so now I'm at the park, y'all. It's the next day. We are at the park. The family, all the family is showing up. And you see I've got my cakes all arranged, and I've got my little signs in my cakes. And we're about to set up the table with the tablecloths and everything. But my auntie, she is the eldest. She came over and she said, Dyvonne, give me some of that cake. And so I went on and I cut her a piece of that butter pecan cake. And right here, this is the other thing that I brought to share. And this is my mother's macaroni and cheese, the baked macaroni and cheese. I make a big tray of it. And I'll share with you the information for that vlog, for that baked macaroni and cheese. Well, that is it for me today. I hope you enjoyed spending time with me in my kitchen as I got ready for the family reunion. If you're not subscribed, please hit that subscribe button. If you like this video, don't forget to show it some love. Give it a thumbs up and click share. Share this video with a friend or a family. And remember, it's always good when Dyvonne is cooking for the family. I'll see you on the next one. Bye-bye, everybody.